My son has started acting autistic. My son, 16 male, recently started following an account on Instagram and TikTok by a mom who posts videos of her autistic teen son. The kid is low functioning, I don't know the politically correct way to say this, and he can't talk, can't understand complicated concepts, etc. At first, my son started constantly referencing this account at inappropriate times, like family dinner, making jokes about it, randomly showing me edits he made of the account, but that was harmless enough. However, lately, my son has been imitating this kid, and it's ruining my home life. When I ask him to do basic chores, he stims instead and refuses to do them. When I ask what he wants for dinner, he lists off ingredients in this weird way that doesn't make any sense, example chicken, taco, onion. He won't even answer me in complete sentences anymore when we talk. He's even doing random things around the house like dumping out entire cartons of milk into the sink and refusing to explain himself. At first, I laughed it off, but this is actually making it impossible for my son to talk normally. He even randomly makes these noises when he's talking to his friends, and I've gotten calls home from school. I'm not saying it's bad to be autistic, but my son isn't and never has been, and this has started to interfere with his entire life. Update: after everyone's recommendations in the comments of my original post, I decided to go ahead and restrict my son's access to social media. After thinking about it for a while, I decided to give him 15 minutes of supervised use of his phone every day, in case he had to text his friends. However, whenever this time happened, my son would spend just a couple of minutes checking and quickly answering his texts, and then he spent the rest of the 15 minutes just watching the new videos from Slash about this account he was obsessed with. He would imitate the kid while watching the videos and show me all the posts about him that he found funny. The first few times when I took away his phone after 15 minutes, he would get upset about it, dropping the autism act, and try to get more time, but that quickly stopped when I threatened to limit the time even more. After over a week, he seemed to still be just as obsessed with this account and imitating the kid's mannerisms, so I thought I might have to take even more measures to make him stop. However, soon afterward, I received a call from my son's school principal. It turns out one of the kids in his class had an autistic sibling and found his behavior offensive and annoying, so they reported him to the principal, who had brought him in to talk and gave him detention and was threatening worse if this continued. This finally brought my son to stop doing this in school and, after I spoke to him about his principal calling me, at home too, I made him unfollow the account on social media, and then I gave him normal access to his phone again. He has never explained to me what was motivating him to act the way he did, but I think it was a combination of encouragement from his friends, who found his accurate impressions of this kid funny and would call it, going, name of the autistic kid, mode, and using it as a weird way to get out of doing work around the house. A month or so later, once this had all blown over, my son was looking at Instagram and saw my original post reposted over a clip of someone playing a video game. He asked me about it, and I told him it was me. He was a bit angry, but I think he realized he couldn't get too mad at me for it after what he had been doing.
My wife cheated, and I found out in the worst way. I, 26 male, found out my wife of 2 years, 25 female, has been cheating on me our whole relationship. We dated for 3 years before we got married, so we've been together for 5 years. The way I found out has made things even more traumatizing. We both have always had our own computers, but it's not rare for us to use each other's occasionally. So last week, my computer was dying, and I plugged it in and grabbed hers so I could use it on the couch while I watched some background TV. I noticed an external hard drive was attached, which I had never seen before. I didn't know if it was important or not, so before I unplugged it, I checked to see what was on it. It was a bunch of videos, all with titles of guys' names. I clicked on the first one and was immediately shocked. It was my wife giving sloppy top to a guy on our couch. I closed the video after a couple of seconds, but for some stupid reason, I opened it again and watched the whole thing. I ended up watching videos of my wife cheating on me with dozens of different men for the next couple of hours. I don't know why I did it to myself. I didn't watch every video but enough of them to scar me for life. We don't have the most vanilla intimate life, but the stuff in the videos literally made me sick. The two worst were where a guy was giving her a golden shower in our shower, and then she licked his dirt star while he said, "Make sure to kiss your husband with that dirty tongue when he gets home." The second was 3 guys who were clearly 18 to 19 years old all going at it with my wife while laughing at her and doing stuff I never imagined my wife was capable of. I threw up after that and put the computer down. When my wife came home and saw the computer with the hard drive, she immediately tried to sneak it away, but I told her right away that I saw what was on it. Her reaction was seriously to cry and apologize. She tried claiming she loves me more than anything. I confronted her about the 2 most horrifying videos, and she claimed she loved and respected me too much to do the stuff she did in the videos with me but needed to feel degraded sometimes. I wanted to get angry when I heard that, but I was honestly too depressed to react. We haven't told anyone yet, and I've just been sleeping on the couch. She still thinks we can save our marriage, but as soon as I get the strength, I'm divorcing her. I don't think I'll ever be able to tell anyone, other than the therapist I'll 100% be needing, about this, so staying anonymous on Reddit to get it off my chest felt like the only option. My fiancé won't marry me if I get a prenup. I, 43 male, am a doctor. Becoming a doctor took me 15 years after high school. I chased the profession only because of the salary and prestige that came with it. My father has worked hard all his life and owns a lot of properties and businesses. I'm set to inherit these valuable assets. I proposed to my fiancée, who's 39 and currently unemployed, about 2 months ago. We've been living together for a year, and the wedding preparations have started. As we began discussing the actual ceremonies and other details, I brought up the topic of a prenup. Her response was an immediate and firm no. She insisted that what I earn is what we make together and that we should share everything. I've spent countless hours on Reddit, reading story after story of people losing everything in a divorce, and it's made me wary. I can't shake the feeling that I need a prenup to feel secure. It doesn't help that I'm starting to wonder if she's more interested in my money than me. Whenever I buy her gifts, her first question is about the price. She demands designer accessories or clothes, and I've found myself cutting back on gifts for her, reserving them for special occasions like Christmas, birthdays, or anniversaries. Personally, I don't see the appeal of designer labels. To me, spending money on high-end brands feels like a waste. Back to the prenup issue. Every time I bring it up, she flatly refuses. The strange part is that I'm fine with not being married. She's the one who suggested marriage, not me. I'm completely comfortable with staying engaged for the rest of our lives if that's what it takes. But I'm at a crossroads now and just need some advice on how to proceed. Should I just go ahead with the wedding without putting anything on paper? Or should I stand firm and not marry her at all until a prenup is signed? I want to do what's right for both of us, but I also want to protect myself. I love her, but I can't ignore the red flags. I shaved my butt and joined my friend group's best butt competition while being a guy. So first of all, I'm a 19-year-old guy, and everyone involved in the butt competition was between the ages of 18 and 20. It all started around a week ago when some girls in my friend group came together and started drinking. They began boasting about their butts, and the next thing you know, they wanted to do a best butt competition. I wasn't there, so I don't know the details, but we were sent a message in a group chat. The rules were simple. If you wanted to join, you just had to send a pic of your butt to a certain girl who would present them anonymously to 8 guys, and they would all vote for the picture of the best butt. Well, I thought it would be funny to join, but I knew that they wouldn't take it seriously because my butt is naturally extremely hairy. So I did the most logical thing at the time. I shaved it. I took the shaving equipment I normally use for my face, switched the blades, and went ham. This is where the first problem came in. The stupid person I am, I didn't lock the door. My mom walked in on me shaving my butt. She just awkwardly wiggled away, and I turned extremely red. She didn't say anything, so I thought she would just ignore it. Well, she didn't. She started Googling. That evening, she asked me to come to the dinner table to talk. My father ran away, so I knew it would be bad, but I didn't expect it to be that bad. She wanted to talk about intercourse safety in a homosexual relationship. Keep in mind, I'm not actually gay. She was extremely well prepared. Highlights of that evening were practicing with protection and a cucumber, the dangers of gay intimacy without lube, and a brief summary of objects I should definitely not put up my you-know-what, such as lamps and beer bottles. She would not listen to any of my denials and would just say, "It's okay, your dad and I still love you." I thought the worst was over, so I sent a picture of my shaven butt to the girl that was collecting them, and 2 days later, the 9 pictures of all the contestants were sent, all without any distinguishable features, to the 8 boys. So, one thing you should know is that I do have quite a good butt. I got pretty good genes in that aspect, and I've been skating since I was 14. I now skate around 60 kilometers a week, and skating is an incredible way to get a firm, round butt of decent size. You can probably see where this is going. I won with a total of 5 out of 8 votes. One picture got 2 votes, and one got 1 vote. The fallout from this was not that big. Some of the more prideful girls wanted to start some drama, but they didn't want to admit their butt lost to a boy. I didn't talk a lot with them anyway, so that was simply ignored by most of us. Our mixed-gendered trip to a lake when lockdown would end did turn into a guys-only trip, as some of the girls suddenly didn't really feel like going, and the rest didn't want to go to a lake with such a one-sided girl-boy ratio. I do want to say that most of the girls did think it was hilarious on some sort of level, and the ones that didn't are famous in our group for being extremely prideful. It is, however, extremely awkward to talk with most of them, as they now look at my butt quite frequently. It doesn't stop with this, by the way. I was gaming with my friends today, and we started talking about the butt competition. We kept it anonymous as to which butt was from what person, and the people that voted didn't know who won yet, and I did not know who the guys that voted were. Well, the guy I was gaming with happened to be one of the people voting. He said he couldn't choose between 2, so he started pleasuring himself and voted for the one he finished 2. I said something along the lines of "That's gross as F." He then said something like, "You would understand if you saw the butt," and then proceeded to send the picture he voted for via Snapchat. It was mine. I didn't tell him, but I now have to live with the knowledge that a good friend of mine finished to the picture of my shaven butt.
I sent an anonymous letter to my dad to mess with his head. My dad has committed unspeakable acts against children. He mistreated all of his children from, at least, his first 2 marriages. However, within the community, he is seen as a great guy, well loved and respected by others. He has gone to great lengths to maintain these appearances. He's a retired police officer and devout evangelical Christian. His 3rd wife, along with his 3rd set of children, all adults living independently now, seems unaware of the abuse he imposed on his children from his first 2 marriages. He has 7 children total, that I know of. From all of the marriages, I am a child of his 2nd marriage. He has, to my knowledge, kept the child of his 1st marriage a secret from his 3rd wife and all of my younger siblings. I only know because this mystery sibling found out about my dad's 2nd and 3rd marriage, and his resulting children. The sibling found me on social media and reached out to me about 10 years ago. I have not told anyone. My dad is full of secrets. I have been no contact with him and most of my biological family for many years. My dad would tell me when I was young that if anything got out about his behaviors or past, he would end his life. placing the burden on my shoulders. If I told anyone, he'd die, and it would be my fault. I have kept his secrets for the past nearly 40 years. But over the past couple of years, I've been in therapy. It's helped me work through a lot of shame and guilt, but now, the predominant feelings I have are rage and a need for justice, but justice is impossible, as the statute of limitations has long expired. Thus, I got an idea. I decided I was going to make it my mission to toy with him. I want him to be afraid. I want to cause him to feel fear, anxiety, and paranoia. I want to mess with his mind. I do not care if it results in negative consequences for him. I'm sitting here with a bowl of popcorn just watching and waiting to get to the good part. So, I sent him a card, mailed from a faraway post office, obviously without a return address. On the front of the white card, in plain black font, it just said thinking of you and had a simple line drawing of a flower, one that is, in fact, poisonous. Inside the card, in heavily altered handwriting, I wrote I remember, do you? But, I also included a page torn from a Bible. The page was from Luke. I used a highlighter and highlighted the following verse: For nothing is secret, that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid, that shall not be known and come abroad. Luke 8:17. I felt like the card and its contents were poetic, and I am amused by how perfect it was. I sent it so that it would arrive on his birthday. I plan to continue to send things to him, very randomly, to mess with his mind. I'm writing down ideas in a journal, brainstorming for other perfectly poetic ways to mess with him, to make him fear that his secrets are about to be discovered. I lived in fear of him all.
And that means the world to me.